It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Hi, everyone, and welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Matthew Moreno, and joining me tonight, Blake Williams, an unplanned show. Blake, I know we talked amongst our staff about doing this tonight, and going into it, the line of thinking was, hey, it's Clayton Kershaw's second start. Is he going to bounce back? Start of a pretty big road trip, NLCS rematch. And now here we are, 6 hours after the game started, basically. And I mean, only maybe one of those storylines kind of prevails still.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest games I can remember, just from start to end, with the rain delay, with the multiple calls there that no one really knew what the actual calls were going to be and what the official rules were on that. And then the back and forth, the Dodgers blowing it late in the game and then coming back to win it in the 13th inning. Like, there's a lot that happened in that game, a lot to digest there still. So, yeah, we didn't get the storylines we were expecting, but we got some pretty unique ones.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody who's joining us live. We have over 1,000 people in here already on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and we appreciate you guys joining. Kind of like I said, this was sort of unplanned. If you are following us and you've been with us for several shows, you know that we typically do Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday night lives, and we mix in some recorded videos throughout the week, stuff like that. But like I said, Blake, myself, and some of our staff who couldn't be here, like we did feel like it was tonight was going to warrant doing a live show. And as Blake said, we didn't necessarily get the stuff that we anticipated. But a thank you again to everybody who's joining us. If you are new and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please be sure to do so. Ring the notification bell. It's how you'll get to kind of participate when we do kind of these impromptu shows. And normally, it is kind of structured. If you guys have been here, we have big banners up and segment through different things. As you can see, if you're with us, if you're watching this tonight, if you're listening on podcast, you can check it out after the fact. We have kind of a scrolling ticker here across the bottom. So we're going to kind of go through that, react to a lot of the comments and questions you guys are giving us. There's a bunch of super chats already that we're going to lead off with. And then we'll kind of get into the different highlights, if you will, some lowlights mixed in as well tonight. Our first super chat is from BreakingT. It says, off day and Scott blows a 3-run lead. So much for the rested bullpen. Except for Dreyer, everyone else was used. At least the Mets had to burn all their arms too. Scott better pay for dinner. Blake, I feel like, and BreakingT, I'm going to take your super chat down just because it covers us up a little bit. I feel like Tanner Scott is obviously going to be a focal point tonight. What is there? I mean, what do you make of his, first couple months of the season so far with the Dodgers?
Kind of mixed. He started out with that rough stretch there, and then he kind of figured it out for a little bit. I think he had like 8 or 9 straight scoreless appearances. He looked like he was figuring things out, and then the last week or so now he's been struggling a bit again. To me, it seems like the main issues kind of go back to what the Dodgers worked to change with him, which I didn't understand at the time and still don't. Mark Pryor wanted him to throw more strikes and less stuff out of the zone, which he has decreased his walk rate by a lot. He's walking like 0.39 hitters per 9 this year compared to 4+ in the past. So that's worked out. But with more stuff in the zone, he's striking out less guys and he's allowing more hits. They're hitting him harder, more consistently. So I'm not sure what their thinking was with that. It seems like they were hoping if the stuff plays up enough, like you decrease his walk rate even more, he's going to be even more dominant. But the trade-off just hasn't been great so far. Maybe in the long run it'll pay off when his stuff is like fully back and he's sitting 99, 100 with his slider. We'll see. It's just early on so far, he's looked more pedestrian than the elite closer we've come to expect from him. And that is just kind of the way it goes with relievers. We've talked about this a lot on this show. Like, you can't trust any of them. They're always volatile. But when you're signing a guy to a $72 million contract and he's been probably the best reliever in baseball, or right up there with the best relievers in baseball for the last 2 years. You expect more from him right now. And like, to be fair, he's the only option, like high leverage option they really have in the bullpen right now. And he has been overused a bit, but at the same time, like, you got to still put results up and do better on the field.
Yeah, I think that's big. Like, and Tanner, I think, would admit it. I forgot what night he was, just a couple games ago. He blew a save at home. The Dodgers, I think, ended up winning. Yeah, they ended up winning that one as well. And he said, wasn't good enough type thing. Like, he's not going to run away from the responsibility and the struggles and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said it, like it's not good enough. And he joined as much as you can't trust relief pitchers, as much as there is some volatility with them. He joined the Dodgers, as you mentioned, as one of the best relievers in baseball. Like, he was highly coveted for free agency. I know when I remember the Dodgers, I'm sure you remember as well, when the Dodgers signed him, when that news came out, there was a lot of, oh my gosh, I can't believe the Dodgers got Tanner Scott also, and their rotation's going to be this, and now their bullpen's going to be this and that. And he just hasn't met expectations by any means. And as you said, there was kind of a solid stretch there for him, but he struggled of late. And yeah, the adjustments the Dodgers made, maybe they're going to pan out as the season wears on, but right now it's certainly going to struggle. And you layer in also with the changes you mentioned, Mark, prior, and the Dodgers wanting to implement with him. There's been a decline in velocity still, and velocity still. And I think that's also playing into some home run trouble, some hard hit rate stuff. So yeah, I see Dodger Blue Force saying, "Calm down, people. He will be fine." Perhaps, like Blake, as you guys have been with us and long enough, Blake and myself, like, we're not necessarily going to panic type thing. But at least for me, Blake, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think there is some reason for concern right now. Do I believe that he could potentially fix it? Sure. Like, I don't think struggling now guarantees struggling throughout the year, but there is certainly, I think, cause for concern.
I think there's cause for concern. Like you said, I'm not going to hit the panic button on it. I think a lot of these issues are going to be fixed when guys start to get healthy. We've seen it in years past where the bullpen tends to struggle more when your starting pitchers aren't going deep into games consistently. So I think that's playing a huge factor into it. And the Dodgers have like 5 or 6 right-handed relievers on the IL right now who would all be working in high leverage spots. And you might have to put Tanner Scott in a situation where you don't normally want him to be in, just because you have all these other relievers on the IL. So I think as players start to get healthier, I think that'll help him get more rest and be able to be used in roles more suited for him where it's best. So I think that's going to help, but he also, like, the strikeout rate needs to go back up. The walk rate, it's nice to see, but I don't really care about walks as much if you're striking everyone out and not allowing hard hits. So if they have to go back to, like, saying do what you were doing before and see if that works more, then great. So I think there's kind of a combination of things working against him, and part of it's totally on him and part of it's out of his control, and it's just kind of tread water at this point until you can get things back to normal.
Yeah, and the other thing too, like, not that it's necessarily an excuse, I think it needs to be factored in. Perhaps it played a part in tonight. It was his 3rd time pitching in the last 4 days, so like there's more usage there, and I think the Dodgers typically have with their relief pitchers. But again, like Tanner Scott, I don't think he's going to make an excuse, and it's not an excuse. He's getting paid to be one of the best closers in baseball. And Blake, you're back on here. Devin wants to know that you were missed.
It's been a bit.
It has been a bit. Yeah, it gets tough. Just, you guys know, like, Blake, myself, Daniel, who was just on, I think, for one of our breaking news videos, we do try to sprinkle ourselves in and give you a nice rotation. It gets hard for Blake and I when the Dodgers are on long homestands and we're kind of splitting up who's at the games and doing that type of stuff, and so it gets a little bit challenging for us to be on here. So it's not that it's not for a lack of want, but just sometimes scheduling. But now that they're on the road, Blake and I, we took this one for the team, like I said at the beginning, not knowing what we were going to get ourselves into here. Blake, I don't know about you, but I was looking at, 4:00 start time on the East Coast. We'll do a live show. I'll be done with work by 9:30 maybe, and here we are. It's almost like a normal 7-10 game for us.
Yeah, I'm not going to totally throw you under the bus, but you kind of jinxed it in the chat. So everyone blame Matt for this long game tonight.
That's true. All right. We still have a bunch more super chats, so let's make sure we get to all these. 300 GJW. Still scratching my head on how we won this game. Yeah, I mean, you're not alone. We were talking about it as it was happening. I don't know how the Mets didn't win that game. The Dodgers loaded the bases, nobody out, didn't score. Another inning, the free runner in extra innings still didn't score. Another inning, still didn't score. Uh, who's dooming more at this point right now, the Mets fan base or the Dodgers?
I mean, first of all, let's give some credit to the dominant Dodgers bullpen for shutting them down in extra innings. I think realistically, like the Mets have also not been playing very well coming into this game. Overall on the season, they've been really good, but they're 4-6 in their last 10 now. So like we've been in that stretch with the Dodgers as well for it seems like the past week, and we've had fans doing the whole sky is falling, season over type thing. I think Mets fans are probably a little more used to this and the pain and suffering of a long season, so they might be more like panicked about it in the sense that like we're used to it. We know what's going to come where the Mets, bad things always happen to us. Whereas Dodger fans, like the expectations are just so high. Anytime something goes wrong, it's the sky's falling. So I think it's different kinds of panic and worry among the two fan bases. But yeah, Mets fans are a long suffering group there.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. More super chats. Ivan says Scott owes, he puts entire in all caps, team, all expenses paid, 2-week-long vacay to any destination of their choice in the offseason. Gonsolin needs to bring his A game. Yeah, I mean, we mentioned, Tanner has not been good enough. And certainly with the bullpen usage ended up with what it ended up being tonight. Yes, Tony Gonsolin. Is it? I'm assuming that it is Gonsolin tomorrow, right? I don't think.
Sounds right.
Yeah, double check. Yeah, Gonsolin and then Knack. Yeah, any length Gonsolin can give them would certainly be needed. I imagine there still is probably going to be at least one or two moves in the bullpen that the Dodgers make, but also, I mean, it's kind of they're a little bit handcuffed in terms of, I guess, flexibility, right? Like we're probably looking at potentially, I mean, unless somebody, I guess, was injured tonight, kind of needing to shoulder some workload.
Yeah, I mean, if you send Sauer down, you're without him for 2 weeks essentially, and if you send Knack down, you don't have your last starter on the rotation, and Vesia isn't going down. Bonda can't be optioned. Trevino has been like solid since he got here, so I don't think they're sending him back down. Yeah, I mean, Luis Garcia DFA potentially, but I don't really see that. I also don't even know who they'd call up at this point. Like the minor leagues are kind of barren. So yeah, we'll see.
And that's what Super Chat from the Sandwich was asking. Is Luis Garcia still a DFA candidate? I mean, in some sense, yes, but this has been the sentiment for the past, 6 weeks, and he has continued to stick around. So maybe, but
yeah, I was surprised he made the opening day roster, and then I was surprised when he was around after the first week and after the Tokyo series, and then
especially because they were pitching him in like 3 out of 4 games, 3 days in a row, and so it did look like, okay, we're going to sort of wear you out right now. We need you to just soak up innings, and then we're going to cut you loose at some point, but it just hasn't come yet. Aaron Garcia says, no one deserved to win this game. It was and you can read it, a blank show if you're listening. Sure, you could fill in the blank. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Met, as much negativity and criticism that was around the Dodgers for their struggles in extra innings, if you're the home team and you just need 1 run and you have the automatic runner at second base, how you don't score 1 run at any point is beyond me. And so, as much criticism as the Dodgers are getting, the Mets, that was pretty bad. All right, let's see. Fritz says Soto going 0 for 5 was worth the price of admission. Yeah, I mean, Juan Soto came up, twice in extra innings with a chance to basically end the game and came up empty both times. I know that there have been a lot of storylines around him leading into this past rivalry weekend. Blake, maybe we'll have to get your thoughts on that maybe towards the end of tonight's show, the big rivalry weekend that MLB put together.
Yeah, I mean, all the Soto storylines sound awfully similar to like the Conforto storylines, but one of them's making $17 million and one's $800 million or whatever it is. So yeah, it's tough over there.
Slight difference there. That was also Blake's just trying to slip in a Conforto mention without all you guys getting mad. Jose, bullpen together strong. Yeah, Blake, that was what you said. I felt like I was maybe bearing the lead, and you appropriately wanted to give the Dodgers bullpen some credit for holding the Mets scoreless, as the Dodgers themselves couldn't scratch a run to save their life. Let's see. Don't care 187. This one's a little harsh. F the Ghost Runner. I can agree on that. And then there's also some frustration directed towards Tanner Scott.
I don't know. I thought the Ghost Runner, we still might be playing that game. It might have been going to like the 17th inning at some point. I'm okay with the Ghost Runner on a Friday night, ending that game a little earlier.
Okay. David says Tanner Scott is a Padre spy. I've seen that sentiment going around. Aaron Garcia, I love Dave, but putting Tanner in after having thrown 42 pitches in 3 days wasn't a good decision. You could tell when his fastball was 94 when he was done. I mean, fine. Like, I think if you want a sort of Monday morning quarterback, then okay. But the reality is Tanner Scott is the Dodgers closer. Blake, I know you mentioned this. The Dodgers also, like, what other option is there in that moment with the 3-run lead in the 9th inning? Like, if Dave Roberts had gone to anybody else, I feel like the question would have been like, why aren't you using Tanner Scott? What are you paying him all this money for? Frankly, a 5-2 lead for a pitcher of Tanner Scott's quality and caliber needed to be enough tonight, and it wasn't. And again, like, he's not going to run from that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a situation where you don't want to use him again after throwing all those pitches, but like you were saying, who else do you have? You bring in Bonda, everyone complains. You bring in Vesia, everyone complains. You bring in Lou Trevino, like, sure, maybe you like that more, but he's a guy who was DFA'd 2 weeks ago. You bring in Luis Garcia, and people are saying you're waving a white flag. Why are you trying to lose this game when you're up 3? Like, they don't really have options in the bullpen right now, and that's just kind of what it is at this moment. There isn't a great option there, and you kind of just have to go with your best guys in that moment and hope it works out. Like, Tanner Scott is by far the best reliever they have in their bullpen, and if you have to trust him on shorter rest over someone who has been struggling all year, you're probably going to do that more often than not. So unless you have like a better answer of who should have been pitching, it's hard to say like Tanner Scott shouldn't have been in that moment.
Yeah. All right. We still have more super chats, so bear with us as we get to these. Excuse me. Freedom says, what an excellent game. What a finish. Excellent game, like a playoff. That is one way to look at it. I guess like a playoff from the standpoint of maybe runs were hard to come by, but I don't know if the manner in which runs were hard to come by was a playoff game. It wasn't necessarily a shutdown pitching by starters out there.
I mean, I think if you take a step back from the fandom side of things and just look at it as a baseball game, it would have been a lot of fun to watch. Like, if you didn't care about the outcome, that's a great baseball game right there. You saw the blown lead come back in the 9th. You saw all that wild, crazy stuff happening with the calls and both teams failing to score a few times and all the intense action there. Like, that's a fun game on the surface level. As fans, you don't always want to see that, but like from a pure baseball standpoint, it was a fun game.
Yeah. Mickey says Shohei was safe, turned out to be an important out. I'm not sure. Was this on his stolen base?
No, he did get thrown out. I thought he was pretty far out.
Yeah, I thought he was too. Maybe the tag missed. I don't remember watching that close enough. If anything, I think the Mookie one, the back pick, that one was close because his hand did come off the bag. I wasn't necessarily sure if the glove was still on him, but that ended up being an out. But hey, the Dodgers won, so there can be some optimism, some solace found in that. Next super chat's from Richard Flores. It was a gutsy win, yes, but the decision to start the game with rain burned Kershaw. The interference call, Tanner Scott blow up, all adds up to more pitches that this bullpen can't tolerate. Yeah, Richard brings up some great points that we mistakenly overlooked. The game started as it's raining, like not drizzle, like it's raining, and I was surprised that they were playing it. And they got into the top of the 3rd inning, and they had to pause it, go into a rain delay, caused Kershaw his start. Although, if you want to look at it, Kershaw also didn't give up any hits in his second start of the season. Is one way to look at tonight. But the Mets, in all seriousness, the Mets lose their starter as well. Like, that was kind of an interesting decision. I felt my suspicion is this was sort of another instance of, I guess not a network, but Apple TV, maybe having some sway in dictating a game still being played. We saw this, I think, with the Braves when the Dodgers were on the road trip, and that was a Fox game, and it was delayed for 2 hours or something crazy before. At least that one was before it started. Starting a game and pausing it for an extended period is difficult.
Yeah, I was surprised they started it. They shouldn't have. I think part of it is like MLB and the teams not wanting to issue refunds to fans necessarily, so They want to get the game over with and not reschedule things and change timings and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, wasn't the best for the Dodgers, but hey, they got the win, so sure.
What about the obstruction stuff that happened tonight?
I think there's a super chat on that, so if we want
Okay.
to throw that one up.
Yeah, go ahead if you see it.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew Phillips. Why was Marte safe at home? That umpire sucked.
So they ruled it as obstruction, whereas Muncy was blocking the view of the outfielder catching the ball. So when he was thrown out, then it was the obstruction that acted in there and said he was safe, actually. It's technically correct by the rule books, I guess, but it's also something where it's probably like never been called in history ever. And if someone can find an example to prove me wrong, I'd love to see that. It was a very strange decision there. I don't think it affected Marte that much where he was thrown out by that far, like maybe a split second, but he was out by a good few feet there. So yeah, it was an interesting decision there by the umpire. It seemed like he just maybe wanted to kind of show off his rule knowledge there or something and was looking for it. Like, I don't know. I've never seen that called before. And yeah, I don't think many people have, reading like all the comments on Twitter and commentary about it.
Yeah, and then in the 13th inning when Teoscar tagged up, basically identical play, the replay showed him like having to kind of stretch his neck to look around. I always want to call him Batty at third base, and the Dodgers dugout got on Tripp Gibson, who was a third base umpire, and then they showed when they came back in the next inning, it looked like he went over there and had a conversation with Muncy. But before that, like Dino Ebel had to kind of not push Gibson away, but sort of like try to get him to not potentially eject somebody. But yeah, I mean, look, like if you were going to call it, fine, but then fine, Teoscar was safe, and so maybe like.
I think that's the difference there, that safe versus out kind of thing playing into it. Like you don't need obstruction when the runner's safe.
I guess, but my issue also is that, like, I don't know, and baseball is different, I guess, from in terms of other sport. Like sometimes in basketball or football, like if it was pass interference, whether or not he caught the ball or dropped it, or if there was a foul, whether he made the basket or not, like I don't necessarily like the idea of waiting to see the outcome before determining the call type thing. Like if it is a foul, if it is a penalty, if it is obstruction, then just call it, signal it. Oh, he scored anyway. Okay, fine. Then whatever. Like it is what it is. It's my opinion, and it's more so of look. Like I'll use this word. If you're going to be petty enough to kind of make that call to begin with, then like stick to the letter of the law that you like the expectation that you set. Like it was the same umpire, same play. So that's my only thing with it.
Well, it is still the judgment call. Like with pass interference, they can rule the ball wasn't catchable and not call it kind of thing. So, like, if you're saying he scored easily, you don't really have to call it because it wouldn't have affected anything. So, yeah, I don't know what was up with the umpires.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, don't care 187. What's with umps bringing out the 1800s rule book? Yeah, I mean, there was that. There was the first base umpire had some missed calls tonight. A couple strikes, balls and strikes behind home plate tonight. It was a rough night for the umpiring crew as a whole, except for maybe second base. Although we did have the super chat asking about Ohtani, so maybe there was a missed call there at second base as well. And it was just it was a grand slam by the umpiring crew tonight. All right, more super chats. Jonathan Montgomery says, "Do the Dodgers call up a relief pitcher?" He wants to know about Lotus. I forget how to Lotus. I think
I go with Lotus. I'm not entirely sure.
Or a starting pitcher to piggyback, or Jonathan's favorite, Danny Duffy is close to completing his Mexican League rehab assignment. Yeah, I mean, we discussed, kind of the potential options for the Dodgers. It is, I think they need at least one relief pitcher. How they sort of get there is going to be interesting, just because, as we mentioned earlier, Jonathan, I know you've been in here in the chat, so you've been part of the show. Like it could get difficult in terms of roster maneuvering and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know how they bring up another reliever. Like looking at their roster right now, you could option Kasparius or Dreyer, which Dreyer didn't pitch today, so he's going to be available tomorrow. Probably throw 2 innings. Can't send Kasparius down because then you're without him for 2 weeks unless there's an injury. I don't think they're DFAing Luis Garcia just based on how much they've used him. Landon Knox in the rotation. Maybe Matt Sauer goes down, but even he's been pretty valuable to the group so far. And then again, 2 weeks without him. Lou Trevino has been solid. I don't think you can DFA him or send him down and not hurt the bullpen. And Alex Vesia isn't going anywhere. So like, it's tough to make a roster move right now without an injury, and maybe they do some kind of phantom IL thing, but MLB does kind of crack down on that, and teams could get in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Yeah. Laura is saying, Scott Alexander, you are a Dodger. He was he DFA'd or fully released? I forget which of the two.
I think it was DFA'd.
By the Rockies. So yeah, I mean, even if the Dodgers wanted to sign him, that's not happening by tomorrow. And Laura, I know you're kind of just poking fun, but if people think that it is a viable option, not necessarily as quickly as the Dodgers might need. Another sort of negative to tonight's game was reporters are saying, Dave Roberts said, since it ended so late, Shohei Ohtani was supposed to face batters Saturday. It's already tomorrow out in New York. For the first time since his Tommy John surgery, that now has been pushed back to Sunday because the game went so late tonight. All right, a few more super chats, and then we can get to some of the other topics, and then we'll open it up to questions at the end. Luis says Tanner Scott is Craig Kimbrell minus the orange hair. I mean, still a little early.
Scott was better, or Scott has been better than Kimbrell was. Maybe Scott needs to play Let It Go, mix it up, and get on a nice run there.
Yeah, maybe. Jonathan, another super chat. Imagine being a Mets fan right now. Yeah, this was a point I brought up earlier. Rough night for the Mets. Peter, seriously, why is Conforto still here? I'd rather see someone younger or just anyone. I'm aware that this will be the last season for Muncy, but it's rough. Blake, do you want to take either one of those two, Conforto or Muncy?
Yeah, they invested $17 million in Conforto because they believed in him, and they're not going to give up on him after 2 months of that. Like, whatever we think he should or shouldn't be given playing time or whatever, like, they're going to try and get their money out of him. They stuck with Chris Taylor for a very long time to try and get money out of him. So, like, they're going to try and get their values worth there. I think there are some encouraging signs with Conforto, but there's also, of course, a lot of negatives with him right now. I am surprised they're not giving him more time off and getting Kim some more starts here and there, or mixing things up. Like, Conforto seems to be the only guy pretty much running out there every single day that's not one of their top 4 guys. So I think that is a little surprising from that sense. I've been saying he should probably get some days off here and there. But yeah, they're going to stick with him. I think the thing with him is he's been a good hitter throughout his entire career, and that's like an 8-year sample size or something like that. And it's been really bad this year, but you kind of have to bet that he'll bounce back to at least where he's been around his career, which that's going to be a starting caliber player. Whether it happens, we'll see. I don't think they'd play him in the postseason if he's playing like this or anything, so I don't think it's a huge deal either way. With Muncy, the defense has still been atrocious. Well, I don't think anyone's going to defend that or say anything good about it. I know he's working a lot on it. I see him out there before every game pretty much taking grounders and working on throwing and stuff, so like, he's working on it. We'll see. He's never been a good defender. The offense has kind of picked up. I know he hit into the double play and people were getting mad, but he also had the RBI single earlier. Throughout the month of May, he's been pretty good overall. I think he's right around league average offensively now this year, even after that terrible start. So they're probably not going to move on from him until the end of the season if they do then.
Yeah. All right. Some more super chats. David Ramos says, I thought Roberts got sleepy and wanted the game to end and brought in a 5th infielder, but wow, good call, Jefe. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that was going to work. They did that with there was 1 out, right, in the inning?
And then they got the double play.
Yeah, I thought for sure, like, this is going to end up being a fly ball to the outfield. I mean, again, like I've said it multiple times, like the Mets had several opportunities to end the game tonight, and somehow they didn't. So as frustrating of a game as it was for the Dodgers, it obviously it could have been a lot worse and maybe should have been in some sense. 300, another super chat. Why do you think Roberts went to Garcia and pulled Banda?
Playing matchups there, pretty much, yeah. I mean,
length, Garcia can give you a little bit more than Banda does.
It was with 2 outs in the inning, though. He went to him against
that's right.
Acuna. So probably just the matchup there, trying to get out of it. I mean, it worked out, so yeah. Let Dave cook.
And maybe also, trying to save, even though it's just 1 batter, like maybe trying to save some pitches for Banda if he's available tomorrow for a back-to-back. I mean, the first answer probably is yes. It was just it was a matchup thing, and hey, it worked out. Just like I know everybody had faith, especially when it got to a 3-0 count. All right, those are all the super chats. Oh no, we have one more. Ivan Gutierrez says Conforto is only useful when he gets hit by pitch.
Come on, Conforto had the first hit that led to a run of the game. He singled, started the rally, ended up scoring. Come on.
Yeah, he broke up the Mets no hitter tonight. If he wasn't in the lineup, who knows if that happens? All right. That's it for super chats. Thank you everybody for all those. If you're on YouTube, super chat definitely helps us continue to grow the channel and support us, and we appreciate them. I saw people asking, about other questions. We will answer questions kind of towards the end, but we do have to prioritize the super chats. So if we ask you to bear with us on that regard. I mentioned it a few minutes ago, kind of briefly, Blake. Shohei Ohtani is scheduled to face hitters. It was going to be Saturday, but because the game ran so late, now it's being pushed back to Sunday. This is kind of safe to say it's the biggest progression that Ohtani's making at this point. He's been on a schedule of a light bullpen session every Wednesday for the most part, a normal bullpen session on Saturdays for the most part. There have been a couple times where his schedule was thrown off for various reasons, but he's been sticking to that. His last bullpen session this past Saturday was 2 innings. It was the second time he did that. This time he threw 25 pitches in a kind of proverbial first inning, sat down for about 5 minutes or so, threw another 25 pitches. Then during this week, while he was playing catch from flat ground, started implementing curveballs and sliders. Is there, as much as Ohtani is getting ready to face hitters this weekend at Citi Field, there still needs to be, I think, reason for patience ahead, right? He's not exactly on the verge of joining the rotation.
Yeah, I'd still be surprised if he's back before late July, early August, and that's kind of my optimistic timeline at this point. He's not going to go out on rehab assignments because the Dodgers won't have him DHing then at that point, and they're not going to want to do that. So he's basically going to need a lengthier build-up process of just throwing to hitters and throwing live BPs. So, yeah, it's still going to be a bit. I am a little surprised they went from like sliders and curveballs being mixed into his bullpens to facing hitters so soon. I thought they'd kind of stretch that out a little bit more. And I am really surprised they're making his first time facing hitters on the road instead of at home where they can control things more. So yeah, it's a little surprising to me, but it's good to see that he's finally getting to that next point and they're starting to pick things up a little more.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's my biggest takeaway from all this is given how sort of methodical and deliberate the Dodgers have been with his throwing schedule and the progression that he's been on. I did not expect him to be facing hitters this quickly after just starting to throw curveballs and sliders. And I know that was the messaging all along had been he needs to do that first before he's going to face batters. So fine, that made sense. But like you said, he just started doing that. And so I thought this was going to be maybe another, kind of fuller bullpen session at Citi Field on Saturday and then have him face hitters, a week from tomorrow type thing. But Dodgers moved it up. They moved it up and then, if you will, moved it back a day because of the how late the game went. But still important progress. It'll be great to see and kind of if we do hear from Ohtani. I know it's been a while since he's done an interview with the media, but how he feels coming out of facing hitters for the second time. I imagine his adrenaline will be up a little bit, and so hopefully there's just not any sort of setback or lingering soreness from that. That would be concerning. All right. I think you guys seem to have a lot of questions tonight, so Blake and I want to make sure we have time to answer those. As a reminder, if you could just start it with the word question in all caps, we'll get to those. And if you do a super chat, we will prioritize that, but otherwise we'll try to answer as many questions as we have tonight. As you guys have for us tonight. Before we do that, Blake, have you been keeping track of the Joe Davis bobblehead saga that's been going on?
No, I had to read about it through DodgerBlue.com.
It's a great website. I hear it keeps all these fans up to date every day. They're publishing a bunch of content. I'll text you the different links to articles that I think are interesting. But if you guys haven't seen Joe Davis was, when the Dodgers announced their giveaway schedule for this season, there were, I believe, 21 bobblehead dates on it. Joe Davis was one of them. It was going to be on July 6th. It was a Sunday. It was a home game against the Astros. It was going to be Joe. It was Joe Davis's first bobblehead. But what struck me most curious about it was that it was a Sunday. The Dodgers typically don't do bobblehead any sort of giveaway, honestly, for a Sunday. And then within the past like week to 10 days, I noticed that it went missing from the schedule on their website. Kind of tried asking around, wasn't really getting any clarity other than, yes, if you're saying that it's not on there, then it's not on there. It's not planned. So we put out that article. Lo and behold, this morning, or actually, excuse me, late last night, Joe Davis bobblehead giveaway is back on the promotional schedule. So don't worry, everybody. You guys are going to get your Joe Davis bobblehead, but it is now at the end of the season, or towards the end, September 19th. I believe it's a Thursday, and it's a Giants game. The night before it is Tyler Glasnow's bobblehead. So the Dodgers are sort of stacking their giveaways late at night. Blake, do you have any? There was some speculation that maybe it was canceled or going to be rescheduled because of design changes. He did just win a Sports Emmy Award. Are you buying? Which conspiracy theory are you buying into as the explanation for this?
I think I'll buy into the making it the Emmy-based award just because they pushed it back instead of like just completely removing it. Or yeah, I think that makes the most sense because the timing lines up and it just logically fits. So yeah.
That's what Hawaiian Kier is asking. I could see it. I just don't know if they'd be able to pull something off that quickly, but maybe it's still 4 months to sort of get something turned around. But yeah, that's where that stuff stands right now. All right, let's get to these questions. Fritz will go to that one later. We'll try to stick with baseball first so we don't upset people. Yaki wants to know, is Muncy a DFA candidate? So we were just discussing his defensive struggles. Dodgers have a team option on Muncy for next season, I believe at $10 million or $12 million, something relatively low. Do you see him being a DFA candidate this season?
No, I would say if they try to move on, they'd probably just call up Alex Freeland if he ends up earning it and put Muncy into like a bench role or trade him in another deal. I still don't think either of those are as likely as them just keeping him because his offense has kind of turned it around after that slow start. It may, he's hitting 224 with a 112 weighted runs created plus. The slugging's still down, but that's fine for the 6th, 7th, 8th hitter in your lineup if he's doing that. So yeah, I don't really see that happening.
Yeah, Hawaiian Kier is pointing out that Muncy is the longest tenured Dodger position player. He is still Clayton Kershaw now in his 18th season. But in terms of position players, it is Muncy. And I have maybe I shouldn't necessarily joke about it, but it has been a kiss of death because it was Austin Barnes. He got DFA'd. Then it was Chris Taylor. He got released. And so maybe Muncy's feeling a little bit of heat now, considering what the Dodgers have been doing. Eric Flores wants to know, how much longer until we give Luis Garcia the closer role instead of Tanner Scott?
You're going to be waiting a while if you want that one. Yeah. Luis Garcia is here until he's DFA'd. He's probably not in their long-term plans. If he's on the postseason roster, I would be very, very shocked, and things would probably have gone really, really wrong with their current rehabbing pitchers.
Yeah. I'm sure that was probably asked, tongue-in-cheek type thing. Let's see. Major Chip Hazard says, everyone calls Conforto a, quote, good career hitter because he hit 2 home runs in the World Series his rookie year. I'm not particularly high on Conforto. I wasn't necessarily, you can attest to this, when they signed him, I kind of thought, okay, big deal. I'm sort of at the point where, it is what it is for me with him. Will he give them something better? Perhaps. Do I think they're going to cut him tomorrow? Not necessarily. But Blake, you I think have a little bit more on the Conforto front.
I mean, coming into the year, he was a little higher than an 800 OPS guy with a 120 weighted runs created plus, which 120 weighted runs created plus means he's 20% better than a league average hitter, and the OPS is above league average. So that's similar to Teoscar kind of thing around there. So yeah, I mean, he has been a good hitter throughout his career. He's had a down year here and there. 2023 is worst year. He was league average essentially, and last year he was pretty good. He's had a few really good years. He had a 147 weighted runs created plus in 2017 and 158 in 2020. So, like, there is talent there. There is potential. It's just he's been really bad with the Dodgers. There's no denying that. And sometimes that does happen to guys. Like, they're just not comfortable in a new spot and they struggle. And maybe we're seeing that. I know they tried to make some changes to his swing to unlock more things, and that could be an issue for why he's struggling even more from his career normals. So, yeah, I mean, he's been good throughout his career. He's been really bad with the Dodgers, and that's kind of what it is at this point.
And ironically, a lot of the talk when Conforto signed and then at Dodger Fest was that, playing for the Dodgers with their hitting coaches, hitting at Dodger Stadium instead of Oracle Park, all that was going to help him sort of trend upward, and it just hasn't happened. Dave Roberts, I mean, if you're interested in it, he did share his perspective of, maybe Conforto needing to improve his bat path, was how Dave Roberts described it with
I agree with that one a lot.
The exit velocity is there, but the results obviously aren't. And so Dave was asked, like, why is that the case? And he explained he believes it's his bat path. And so that video is it's up on our YouTube channel. We also have an article on DodgerBlue.com. So you can pick how you want to consume that if you're interested at all. I know it's not necessarily the most enticing topic. Prone to Thrill says, did Roberts wait too long pulling Tanner Scott? No, I mean, he's your closer. He was did he come out with 2 outs in the 9th or 1? 2 outs. He got 2 guys out.
Yeah.
Let me see. I have the Bucks.
That was like 7 hours ago. How are we supposed to remember this?
Fair. Oh no, he only got 1 out. I apologize. Yeah, I mean, I think your hope, like, he's your closer. A lot of the reasons we discussed earlier tonight, like, he should have been able to have finished that game, and so you're not necessarily going to make a move. I think if anything, especially with closers, you're later than early with decisions like that.
I think if the bullpen was completely healthy, or you at least had a few other guys you could turn to, like, yeah, get them out of there way earlier. But, like, again, we go back to this. Who else do they go to? Like, you go to Lou Trevino, is the guy it seems like everyone kind of wanted. Again, he was DFA'd 2 weeks ago for being bad. Like, your options just aren't great right now, so you kind of just have to stick with your guys sometimes, and sometimes it's going to backfire.
Yeah. Jose wants to know any updates on we're discussing the bullpen, Edgardo Enriquez. I believe you were at the stadium when this got brought up, right?
Yeah, so he's throwing in Arizona, and that's pretty much all Dave Roberts knows about him. Seems like he might be kind of in the doghouse a bit after, I think he fractured his foot in off-season spring training, somewhere around there.
Spring training, yeah.
Yeah, like, they've been really quiet about all that and haven't given many details. And yeah, all we really know is he's throwing and probably not going to be back anytime soon.
Yeah, and honestly, like, we never got the details on it. Other than it seemed like it was a lapse in judgment type thing, unfortunate situation. And Enriquez is paying for it because given all the injuries that happened, he got experience he would have been on the opening day roster with the way stuff ended up shaking out in spring training. He definitely would have stuck around with the way injuries have gone since the season started. But yeah, I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation there. All right, let's see.
Unfortunate on this part of being in the doghouse not being the best idea. He's also injured in rehab and he hasn't pitched at all. So, like, even if he wasn't in the doghouse, he wouldn't be able to be pitching right now.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Good clarification there. Let's see. So we're talking about pitching. Sign stealing scandal wants to know Bobby Miller piggyback with Gonsolin tomorrow to reset the bullpen, and we hold our breath and ride together hand in hand deep into the gates of hell. I mean, it's not the worst idea. It's not the worst idea. You try and put how much confidence and faith would you have in that plan would be my question.
There's that, and then also, like what we talked about earlier, like, what roster move do you make to bring up Bobby Miller kind of thing? You don't really have options. If you want to bring him up and then send him back down, you're going to be stuck with, like, Noah Davis on the roster for 2 weeks instead of Ben Kasparius. Like, it's just, unless they're doing an IL thing that we don't know of, haven't heard about, it's just really tough to add a guy to the roster right now unless you're confident in or willing to get rid of someone on the roster when you already don't have many options.
Yeah. Back to Orthodoxy wants to know when Shohei returns, will he pitch every 6th or 7th day?
It might depend on the state of the actual rotation itself,
Yeah.
but I think they'd probably like to do every 7th day.
Yep. I agree. Let's see. So Don Kim wants to know my review of Thunderbolts. Have not seen it, but if you want a review of Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, I'll be happy to get that to you. Just if you do want that, just put it in the comments. If you don't, I don't want to bore you.
Matt didn't do the Stitch Possible double feature. He's not a real movie fan.
No, I didn't. Well, Mission Impossible was almost 3 hours long also.
No excuses. You watched a 5-hour Dodger game today. Could have done 2 hours at the movies.
That's fair. All right, let's see what other questions we have. We'll do the off-topic stuff at the end, so just bear with us if you guys have something along those lines. Alleluia wants to know, how do you feel about Snell's comments about disregarding his health and being impatient and putting the Dodgers in a bad situation? I don't think, yes, it's an unfortunate situation with how it went, in that Snell tried to first pitch through the shoulder injury, and then he started his throwing program while he was still feeling some discomfort, so then they had to shut him down, get him a cortisone injection, stuff like that. I don't think it was necessarily misguided per se. Every play, Roki Sasaki did the same thing, right? He was pitching with some shoulder stuff before revealing it. So is it unfortunate now? Retrospect, hindsight's 2020, obviously, but I can understand, especially somebody like Blake Snell, and he even said this, new to the team, signed a big contract, he wanted to be out there. And so I don't, again, I think there's hindsight with this. I don't think that his intentions were necessarily to put the team in this situation. All right, let's see what else we have here. P says, winning the division is important to avoid the wild card. How important is it to have the best record in MLB?
I think you can kind of debate it. I don't think it matters a whole lot. I think the only thing that matters really is playing well in October. We've seen the Dodgers win the World Series with the best record. We've seen them lose in the first round with the best record, and wildcard teams beat them and head to the World Series. I really think it just matters of playing the baseball you can play in October, and that's kind of it. The benefits of home field advantage and all that are nice, but so many years we just see the teams with all the advantages end up losing in the postseason to the point where I don't think it matters a whole lot. It's just a lot of randomness. A lot of it just comes down to who's playing better at the time and who executes better.
I think it matters and it's worth having, but not necessarily running guys into the ground late in September if you're neck and neck with the Phillies or the Yankees and the American, whatever the case may be. If it happens kind of because the Dodgers are just sort of playing things the way they normally do and normally would, then great. But it's not, I don't think it's worth really chasing after. All right, let's try to rapid fire some of these. Blake, Jeffrey wants to know your take on games ending in a tie after 9 innings during the regular season. I think Blake and I will be on different sides of this. I hate that idea. Blake?
I wouldn't mind it. I don't think there needs to be 3-hour games on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night in July kind of thing. Just move on.
GI says, is Kasperius more valuable as a multi-inning guy or one who can go 2 to 3 games consecutively? I mean, yes, the more you could use him, the more beneficial because he pitches well, but also getting to that point, he's a starting pitcher by trade. So getting there is not necessarily going to happen overnight. He hasn't done a back-to-back yet for the Dodgers. So that's tough. But Blake, to answer GI's question, which role do you think is more valuable?
Both. I mean, they need both of them right now. I think given what we saw tonight, the multi-inning reliever is incredibly valuable, especially with how overworked their bullpen is. And especially considering if the Dodgers had everyone healthy, you wouldn't be discussing if he's in a high leverage kind of role or not. So, yeah, I'm fine with him in the multi-inning role.
Dodger Suck wants to know, how is Roki enjoying the new clubhouse toilets? From what we hear, every player is enjoying the new clubhouse toilets, and Blake can attest to how great the technology is from his trip to Japan. So it's not Roki asked for it, but it's not just Roki reaping the benefits at this point.
Yeah, I mean, everyone should invest in one. They're great.
All right, let's see. What else do we have? Some of these are going to be a little bit. Aaron wants to see, is it Frasso or Frasso?
I think it's Frasso.
Frasso. He wants to see Nick Frasso called up.
Don't think he's very good. I think he's not a guy they have very high on their depth chart.
Yeah. Nomo Splitter says, who would you like to see play left field for the Dodgers in the long run?
Kyle
My
Tucker.
answer is easy. Oh. No, he doesn't play left field.
He can.
No,
But Teoscar then, sure, whatever.
yes. You put Teoscar back in left field, and you can sign Kyle Tucker and have him play right field.
Kyle Tucker and Teoscar Hernandez, whatever corners you want them to be in.
Let's see, another one from Aaron. Which pitchers do you think the front office will be aggressive for during the trade deadline?
I think they're going to kind of look for more just guys who can eat innings and be more depth pieces than targeting like high-end guys. Think of like the Ryan Yarbrough type trade, or I know they were desperate at the time, but the Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly type deal, like just guys you're not going to necessarily need to rely on for like playoff production, but guys who can help you get through the regular season.
Yeah. NS wants to know, with that scenario that we were just discussing with the Alpha, where do you put Pajes? He's your Gold Glove caliber center fielder. I saw all the nerd stats are loving him defensively this season. So
he's been impressive. There's still some like mistakes here and there that are mental mistakes or stuff, but like he's learning, and that's good.
Yeah. Let's see. Nicholas wants to know, what do you predict the Dodgers record will be by the All-Star break, better or worse than last year? Let me try looking up last year's really quick, so bear with me. At the All-Star break last year, oh, no, it's the second half that it defaulted to. They were 56-41. As of right now,
yeah.
32-19.
Let me do some math here. So that's 97 games in.
See, so this you guys are getting the full kind of dichotomy of Blake and I when we get on a show together. He went right to his calculator to run the numbers. He needs a robot to spit something out to tell him. I'm going eye test. They will not be better than they were last year.
I mean, so what were they again last year? 56, you said?
Yes.
So
yeah, 56-41.
So they have about 47 games left to that point, and they'd need, 15 wins? Right? Am I doing that wrong?
You know what? I'm done doing it. It's been
25,
a long day.
25, yeah, long day. I think they can go 25-25 or 30-10 would need to be.
With this roster? Like
Yeah.
the starting pitchers are not coming back anytime soon, and the taxed bullpen was just taxed again tonight.
Yeah, but there's a lot of bad. I mean, I guess they have a tough schedule. Yeah, I'm gonna say 55, right around there. 55 and a half. We'll go.
All right, there we go. Supermax International wants to know, why not give Kike a run at third? Better defender, better base runner, and more power. I don't know about the power. Defender and base runner
this year.
Well, fine. I know this was something you asked Dave. Was it center field specifically, though, when you asked Dave Roberts?
If he could kind of run like any job, because there's a center field second base opening. Yeah, Dave said he likes him in the utility role, and that's where he's best at. So I don't really see it. And like I kind of said earlier, Muncie's been fine offensively in May. The defense hasn't been great, but the offense is fine enough. And also, yeah, this is why I'm a writer.
Yeah, NS appreciated you like seeing you run the numbers. It's like that one GIF. I think it's from The Hangover, right? When they're do you know what movie it's from or no?
I have no idea.
Okay, but it's Zach Galifianakis and all the numbers and math and formula. That was Blake right now. All right, let's see. We have a few more here. Still some baseball. Aum wants to know, no disrespect, but when are we going to question Will Smith's game calling, going from 0-2 to 3-2 or outright walk, and having to start 3-0 to even not good hitters also gets the pitcher out of rhythm?
Me and Scott have talked about this a lot. Neither of us are really huge fans of Will Smith's game calling. I also think some of it is like the Mark Pryor game planning stuff too in there, because they're having conversations with everyone, the pitchers included, and Pryor and Danny Lehman and Mark Pryor. Yeah, I think it's also harder at this point when you have a bunch of guys who probably wouldn't be on the roster in most case scenarios, and you don't really know them too well, and they're not very good to begin with. It's hard to call the right pitches and look great all the time. But also, I do think Will Smith gets a little too fastball heavy at times also.
Yeah, there you go. And it looks like I was correct. It is from The Hangover, yeah, when Alan is counting cards. Sign stealing scam said he thought he was watching Goodwill Hunting for a minute. All right. I think we have reached the end of our baseball portion of the show. If there are a couple more baseball questions that come in, we'll answer those. But right now, we'll pivot to some off-topic stuff really quick. And the first one's going to be Fritz. We saw this earlier. He sees cricket in the background. He's curious about Blake's thoughts on Andor season 2. Great show as always, you guys. Fritz, first, thank you for praising us. We appreciate it, and we're up to close to 3,000 people with us tonight on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And I know, like I mentioned earlier, we do live shows with you guys Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. This one was kind of unplanned. We thought that it would be interesting to discuss Kershaw NLCS rematch. We got an interesting game, some new storylines, and so we appreciate all of you guys who were able to join us live and spend your Friday nights with us. And if you're listening on podcast after the fact, thank you as well. But Blake, tell us, I know I said cricket, but tell us about whatever Wicket is.
Yeah,
is that the play, Wicket?
He's the Ewok, Wicket.
Oh, is that R2-D2?
No, yeah, sure. I loved Andor. I thought it was incredible. Probably the best Star Wars that's ever been done, like in terms of writing and actual acting and cinematography and everything. Like, it was just perfect. So yeah, if you hadn't seen Andor, go watch it all. I love the message, everything about it, just perfect.
Aaron is saying that you went on Facebook and didn't see us live. I apologize. Sometimes Facebook does give us some trouble when we're trying to do this, which is why, honestly, we do recommend the easiest thing, if you haven't done it yet, is to just find our YouTube channel, Dodger Blue 1958, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and that way you will get notified. It's going to sound redundant, but you'll get notified when we do live shows or whenever we post a recorded video and stuff like that. So Aaron, apologies there, but that unfortunately was out of our control. It does happen from time to time, and we just hope that you guys find us on YouTube, or as Blake likes to call it, X. Let's see.
I want to throw this one up real quick.
Go ahead.
I was saying Pius is playing good in center field now. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna debate that he was bad in center field to begin the year, and even last year when he was playing it. Like, I am giving him all the credit for improving and getting better. Like, good on him. Nothing against it. It's great that he's doing that. So yeah, I mean, he wasn't a center fielder to begin the year, and now he's working out really well. And I think the same can be said about Mookie. Like, he looked really bad at shortstop last year, and this year he's been great. Like, guys can improve and do well, and we're just telling you what we see.
Except Mookie doing well defensively at shortstop has seemingly taken away all his ability to hit at the plate. But that's a conversation for another day.
His illness and all that, but yeah.
Conversation for another day. Delirium 9 wants to know, is Rushing catching tomorrow? I mean, yes.
I'd be shocked if he's not.
Yeah,
I would bet a lot of money right now that he's going to be in the lineup catching.
Yeah. More Star Trek questions for Blake. Will Blake Williams be playing Battlefront 2 tomorrow with the rest of the community?
Yeah, I've been wanting to get back on since everyone's doing it. If people wondering about this, there's a push for Star Wars Battlefront 3 to be made, so everyone's hopping on the game. I think it came out in like 2015 or something. So yeah, trying to get it revived and get the EA to make a new one.
Weren't you just playing Fortnite or something?
I have been on Fortnite because it's the Star Wars theme season right now, and it's been fun.
Got it. All right, food question. NS once says, I ate duck for dinner tonight. Do you guys eat duck? I have not, and I don't think I will. I know it's some people enjoy it. Not for me.
Ducks are friends, not food.
What about your dad? I know your dad. Like, has your dad had it? Do you know?
I'm sure he's had it. Yeah, I would not eat duck.
What about Jose Hernandez wants to know, will Kim play tomorrow?
I think all the backups are going to be in tomorrow after 13 innings today. I'd be surprised if Rojas isn't. And with the rain delay, like, it was pretty much a 6-hour event, everything. Like,
although I will add the caveat, I just looked up, the Mets are supposed to be starting David Peterson, who throws left-handed. And Dave Roberts has told us that the Dodgers aren't against starting Ha-Seong Kim against a left-handed pitcher, but they haven't done it yet. So
I think the rest stuff is going to overrule some things, my guess.
That's true. All right. Don Kim says, like the tweet about the rain delay pizza take on AM 570. What are your personal thoughts? So I don't know if this was, I guess we'll let people behind the screens a little bit. That one was sent by me. I was the admin for that tweet. Other times it's admin. Other times it's Blake. So Blake, I don't know if you saw it, but basically I was listening to Dodger Talk when I went to get food during the rain delay, and one of the callers that Vassay was talking to said somehow they must have been asking or discussing like New York pizza and stuff like that, and the caller said he thinks that LA is actually either the best. I think he might have said the best city for pizza, and his argument was you could get every style: New York, Chicago, and then I guess regular. I don't know if you have any strong. It made sense to me.
Regular
like
Domino's or like what?
Yeah, I mean that's like Costco, like Pizza Hut, whatever, like that. Maybe not those chains specifically, but yes, that quote unquote regular, like that style of pizza. I thought that it wasn't necessarily a bad opinion. He was trying to. Vassay asked him to explain it. He didn't necessarily do the greatest job of articulating it, but I think it was on the right path. Aaron Vaughn, he's asking who makes good pizza in LA. This guy named a bunch of different places. One of them was like in Silver Lake, so not far from Dodger Stadium. I think another one was in Beverly Hills or something, because then Vassay gave him a hard time and said like the Dodger Talk callers are not driving to Beverly Hills for pizza. I didn't hate the idea though. I think you could make a case for it.
To answer Aaron, I know Jerry's Pizzeria is good. I think it's in North Hills. And LA Lasagna is good in Northridge. That's all I know. Good LA pizza. I thought New York pizza was overrated when I went and had it.
And you had the Spider-Man place too.
I had the one everyone online recommended. It was the one in Spider-Man, so I got that one, and yeah, it was fine, I guess. I don't know. I've never had like Chicago deep dish pizza, so I can't really comment on that one.
Don't bother.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm fully qualified to comment on pizzas and who is the best pizza place, but I will say New York pizza is kind of overrated.
Bruce, who was on with us and is going to be on with us, is we're gonna have to get Bruce and Blake on to join and align on Star Wars stuff, but then it appears to have difference of opinion when it comes to pizza. I think New York pizza is fine. Like, the benefit of it, I think, is that the slices are really big, so like that's like kind of filling, I guess.
I'm just saying, if New York pizza was so great, they wouldn't have Domino's and Pizza Hut everywhere around there too. Just saying.
Don Kim is saying Masa and Echo Park near Dodger Stadium does deep dish as well. They do, or does deep dish well. Excuse me. They do deep dish. Yes. I would argue that deep dish pizza is just not good, and therefore it's.
Can we count the Taco Bell Mexican pizza?
I'll let the chat, as we finish answering the rest of these questions, I'll let the chat answer that one for you. Joel says Costco has good pizza. That's a place that I think is overrated. Bruce is specifying that he's talking about street pizza in New York. Although if you talk to Charles Barkley, it's the New York street meat is what you have to try when you're out there.
Confirmed Taco Bell Mexican pizza counts.
Yeah, we're getting people saying Little Caesars. All right, so that's as the pizza stuff is going on. Let's see what else we have. John wants to know, Blake, have you had Korean fried chicken and what your favorite flavor would be if so?
I have not had it, so can't comment.
I didn't even know that it would be flavored, so that's interesting. I'm kind of intrigued by that.
Well, isn't it like the one at Dodger Stadium where they put the sauce on it?
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I didn't know. Like, I thought that it just comes like with whatever sauce. I didn't know. Maybe that's just like for the stadium purposes. Whereas if you go to an authentic place, you can customize it a little bit more.
I guess we should send someone to Korea to try that out.
Yeah, are the Dodgers playing there? Do you know?
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
All right, let's see. So John also, he wants Mission Impossible reviews that we're sitting 3 hours. I think it's entertaining. There were a couple points where I felt like it dragged a little bit. I don't know if people have seen it, so I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I got into the Mission Impossible franchise, like kind of ironically. My wife reminded me that it was because we went to see several years ago, The Dark Knight Rises. They put like a special trailer with, I believe it was Ghost Protocol, the Mission Impossible movie. And so you had to go see it, which actually, maybe we'll end with this. I do have a little bit of a rant about IMAX movie theaters. You had to go see it in a real IMAX movie theater, not the fake ones. And so I went for the Batman preview, ended up watching Mission Impossible and liked it from there, and then kind of saw the rest of them through, and then went back and watched the first few, which were terrible. But at the time, when they were being made, I could see where they were ahead of its time. I guess I sounded redundant, so I apologize there. But anyway, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I look, it's not going to win like an Oscar by any means, but it's entertaining. Don Kim, I can't. He's asking if Tom Cruise had a running scene. I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I'm not going to answer that.
You're a big Tom Cruise guy.
His movies are entertaining. Major Chip Hazard said it was filmed for IMAX. So yes, do see it in IMAX. I saw it in what was technically IMAX, and I did see. I think it was Major. Yeah, saying the only real IMAX in LA is at City Walk. There is also one that is true. The AMC there is great. There is also one, the Gromit, like the historic Chinese theater at Hollywood and Highland, that has an authentic, not authentic, like a true IMAX screen. So does I think it's an Edwards down in Irvine. So for any Orange County people, that is one. And I guess now that I've gone down this path, like, are you aware of like the differences with IMAX screens and things like that?
Somewhat, not entirely. I think that it's like louder and higher quality. Better contrast, stuff
basically like not every IMAX theater is created equal. Like I think you just have to get it to a certain screen size and sound and all that stuff for it to qualify for like IMAX. But if you go to a movie theater that kind of does it, and then you go to like, have you been to the AMC at City Walk by any chance? I know it's a little bit of a drive.
One time, a long time ago. It's like 20 minutes. I think the main thing I don't go is like having to pay for parking there for it, man.
That does suck, but if you have your movie tickets, it's only $5 at least instead of like an hourly rate, so it helps.
Okay.
But it is worth, like for IMAX, I would recommend doing it because they have like a true IMAX screen. So if you see that and then you go to another theater that claims to be IMAX but isn't, as Major Chip Hazard is helping me explain it in technical terms of 70 millimeter, like you'll be able to really tell a difference. And so that's kind of annoying. I got used to, when my wife and I lived in downtown, we would go to the AMC at City Walk for IMAX stuff, and so I got spoiled and used to that, and so now we're not as close to that anymore. It's a little letdown when we don't get to see it in an authentic IMAX movie. All right, looks like we had a couple more questions come in.
They aren't showing Lilo and Stitch at the AMC City Walk, so unfortunately I can't go.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, GI wants to know if are you bummed that you missed out on, quote, the Star Wars thing in Tokyo? So what was the Star Wars thing?
Star Wars Celebration, which is like Comic-Con for Star Wars, was there. And yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks after I left. So timing was a little off. I was disappointed, especially for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. There's a bucket hat I really wanted to get, and now it's on eBay for like $400. So can't really buy that. If anyone wants to make that donation to me, I'll wear it on every show. But yeah, probably not happening.
Look at no shame with the pandering there. Morgan wants to know, what will it take to get mid pizza inside Dodger Stadium? Yeah, I have seen the pizza. It's Fresh Brothers now. Like CPK is gone.
Yeah, it's been bad since CPK left. Like CPK used to be my go-to at the stadium when I didn't want the press box food, and then I got the pizza one time from Dodger Stadium after, and it was so bad and it was expensive. Like absolutely not worth it. Never buy the pizza there.
I did see somebody eating it when I was at one of the games on this last homestand, and it looked good. And I thought, like I haven't had pizza in a while. Like it does sound good. Maybe I'll get it, but yeah, I know that Daniel had mentioned having it and saying, I think he said it was okay. I forgot that you had it and said that it wasn't great. So you'll have to see. BC wants to know what CPK. It's California Pizza Kitchen. So a restaurant chain. They do sell more than pizza, but they did have kind of the main flagship location in Centerfield Plaza and then other stands throughout Dodger Stadium. But did they move out last season, or was this the first year that they're gone? Do you remember?
I think last year.
Yeah, sounds about right. So yeah, that's what that is. Let's see. I did see a couple of good questions coming in. Somebody was asking us if Oh, Aaron wants to know if we chat on a computer on the phone. I use my phone. I know some people use text messages on their laptops. That's not me, but we're typically talking just through text and stuff like that, group chats and things of that nature. Go ahead.
Is he talking about like the comments on YouTube though?
Oh, maybe it wasn't for us. Aaron, I apologize if that wasn't for us.
I use my computer to chat on here live.
Here's a good one. Don, sort of baseball and food related, wants to know what's the most interesting food item you've seen a fan bring to a game. He once saw spaghetti in a Ziploc bag, not judging, just thought it was interesting. I don't know if it's hard for it. Like, we're not necessarily like, unless we happen to see somebody from the press box, like we're not really seeing them with their food.
We brought Chipotle for one of the doubleheaders.
That is, yeah.
I see some people bring like sushi into the press box and stuff.
Well, I think they're asking about fans. Not.
I know. I'm just saying, like, from what I've seen.
Don't be such an elitist, Blake.
I just never thought I'd see like sushi at a baseball game kind of thing. I don't know. So that's what came to my mind.
Yeah, there are a couple people that bring in sushi, and I thought the same thing. Cole wants to know: have you ever tried putting peanuts in your Pepsi or Coke?
I have not, but I know it's somewhat popular. I don't know. Haven't.
Is this a viral thing? Is this going around on TikTok or something?
It has been before. I haven't seen it recently, but I think it is fairly popular.
All right, let's. I think we'll close out with this one. Morgan wants to know: are the food options any better for you guys in the press box?
Depends on the day. I would say sometimes we have decent options. Sometimes it's not great. You can always default to getting like a salad and a sandwich there, but then you're paying like full price for it, and it's $15. So not terrible, I guess, but like compared to other places, but it's still not good value.
Yeah, I had some chicken and I think it was mashed potatoes with some sort of they called it like au jus sauce, but it wasn't like French dip in au jus, but it was good. But yeah, it does kind of vary, and there are certain items I've come on here and I mean, not joke, because I am serious. Like, I have like the Caesar salad that they make in the press box. So if they serve that, I'll typically probably eat dinner that night. I think what's sort of underrated, I feel like I've been at the majority of the Sunday games, but they do breakfast for the Sunday 110 games, and like we'll have waffles or pancakes and eggs and bacon and stuff like that. Like, that's good.
I was at the last Sunday game, and they did what's it called? I'm drawing a blank on the name, like the fried chips and eggs kind of thing, Chili's or something like that. Yeah. So that was okay. I was hoping they'd have like pancakes or something, but no, it was good.
Here, Orlando, I saw this he said he brings Costco hot dogs to the game. Yeah, I mean, that is one. Dodger Stadium, give them credit. They let you bring your own food and sealed beverages, so that is a nice kind of consolation for some of the stuff that they are lacking. Sorry, I was reading a comment. I was trying to figure out what it said. Hawaiian Kier wants to know if we bring our own snacks or food to the press box.
I started this year bringing my own food most of the days, just because it does get kind of expensive eating. Snacks and stuff they usually provide. They always have chips and cookies out. They have an ice cream machine and soda machine that's all free. They put out hot like Dodger dogs in like the 5th inning or something that we can take for free. So yeah, we get snacks and stuff covered. But yeah, I've been bringing my own meals just because it gets expensive over time.
Yeah. Ray is saying that you and I have been to a lot of good restaurants near Dodger Stadium, but I don't know, unless Ray is spying on us, 1. 2, I don't know if because we're not often at the stadium together, so I don't know even when that would happen. I mean, I guess we went to Tommy's. Was it during the playoffs or after a workout or something? I took you to the original.
I think it was
Tommy's.
after the workout for the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that. But other than that, I can't say that we have been to a lot of restaurants together near the stadium.
We've been to Lazy Dog.
Oh yeah, because that was after.
Live.
Yeah, because that was a crazy day because it was Dodger. Well, I think it was FanFest at the time. So FanFest and then Mookie's Bowl, and then a break for like a 2-hour window, and then Mookie's bowling thing.
We did the taco place right by the stadium.
That's right.
On the street.
You saw those.
Yeah. I feel like there's one more I'm probably forgetting. There's a few.
I don't know. That might have been it for the stadium. And then we did, obviously, when we were out in Arizona for that series, we were having meals together. But yeah, at least around Dodger Stadium. Laura's asking Lazy Dog. Yeah, it's LA Live. It's a chain. You hadn't been there yet, right? When we went?
No, and big fan. It's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, yeah, the hat. We have done the hat, but that wasn't near the state. That wasn't near Dodger Stadium.
What was that at? We were with Ron for that one, I think.
Yeah, that was in. Yeah, it was in Orange County.
Okay.
Oops, I didn't mean to put that one up. BC, I don't know.
We did the staff Lazy Dog thing too. I think that was right when Sebastian was hired.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, in Orange County as well when he was starting.
Yeah, you guys make me travel far. We did Steak 44, if that counts, in Arizona.
That one was very good.
I think you took us somewhere with Scott after one of the seasons, and it was right when those Dodger-themed shoes came out from Adidas. I forget the restaurant we actually went to.
I do not remember that.
You know the shoes I'm talking about, right? Like the Dodger Stadium seating ones?
Yeah, but I got those like on my way to the stadium. I don't think I saw you.
It was around that time, like after they came, like right after, because I think we were both wearing them or something.
Maybe. All right. Couple more here. We appreciate you guys sticking with us as we're running out of steam, but we keep getting some questions that we want to keep answering, and we're getting criticized for our food choices. So it's a day that ends in Y around Dodger Heads. That's how you know we're doing things right. Aaron wants to know if we ever talk crap to other team beat reporters. No, we do not. That wouldn't be professional.
Also, like, little insight here, like probably 90% of beat writers were never actually like fans of the team they're covering. So it's just like more of a job for them and care as much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. I think the last one, unless we get a couple of stragglers here, which I feel like I said last one about 10 minutes ago and keep getting stuff. Hawaiian Kier wants to know, did you get to see Diego Luna at DL during the SW night on 5-4? Hawaiian Kira, I have to just say really quick, without 5-4 being included in this question, I did not understand one bit of it. The 5-4 sort of clues me in. Blake, did you see whatever a Diego Luna is?
I didn't fully see him, but I was in like the area where he was speaking, so I heard him. Yeah, it was cool. I couldn't like fully tell who it was, but I knew his voice well enough to be like, hey, I think Diego Luna's here. He's Andor in Star Wars, so.
Cool, Blake. Sounds like you had a great time with that. All right. I think we'll end it there. We went an hour and 20 minutes after a crazy game. We had a huge crowd tonight. So, again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. This wasn't necessarily planned going into tonight, but obviously with the way things ended up going, Blake and I wanted to hop in and sort of react to everything with you. As a reminder, if you are on YouTube, please be sure to hit the like button on this video. Give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the notification bell. We're making we reached 85,000 about a week ago, 10 days ago. We're making progress towards 100,000. Once we get there, we'll be able to do a pretty exciting giveaway, maybe 2 giveaways for you guys. So if you can't, spread the word. And if you are watching on Facebook, or although I guess we had issues tonight with Facebook, but if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitter, head over to our YouTube channel at some point. Dodger Blue 1958. We do these live shows. We do player interviews throughout the season and different recorded videos where we're analyzing specific topics, 1 or 2 things at a time, stuff like that. If you're listening on podcasts, of course, we appreciate you as well. And if you want to find us on podcasts, Google, Apple, Spotify, all that great stuff, Dodger Heads, rate, review, subscribe. All of that helps us out as we try to continue growing our show. We're having another strong season. We appreciate everybody every time you guys get to tune in with us. So again, that's Blake. I'm Matthew, and we will see you guys next time.